Singapore, the one place in the entire world where I can visit there every time and still feel like I'm visiting there for the very first time. There's always something different to see there, whether it be new food, new places, or coming across new people. Singapore always has something new to offer every time I go, and this time was no different. This time I soaked in the city and decided to just live throughout without looking at it from the lens of a tourist. We've been to the same hotel every time we stayed in Singapore, and for the first time in our stay, we actually tried the spot near our hotel called Toast Box. And I regretted not being there earlier because the peanut butter toast and the floss stick toast was so good. Chinatown, one of the places you cannot miss when you come to Singapore. And as a Sri Lankan girl, I quite restricted myself in my first few visits where I only ate food that reminded me of home. But this time I really wanted to go out of my comfort zone. And so I decided to try new stuff in Chinatown. Taking a stroll throughout Chinatown was quite therapeutic, as this colorful and vibrant wall art made me stop and really admire the amount of hours these people have taken to paint and how something so creative can turn into a tourist spot that will be admired for generations to come. And then of course, more food. You can't go to a country and not experience their food. It's just simply wrong. It's one of the biggest rules in traveling. You have to go out of your comfort zone. And this is a lesson I learned much later. So for instance, this pork rice was simply divine. And why wouldn't it be? Because it's literally made by a Michelin star restaurant. Something that I missed out on in my earlier trips because I was too scared to go out of my comfort zone. But at the same time, balance is key because sometimes you just crave for something that reminds you of home. Something I like when I come to Singapore is to visit all the malls because maybe it's because I'm in Sri Lanka where we don't have a lot of options when it comes to international brands. But when I see the elaborate and fancy stuff in these malls, I just gawk. One of my favorite things to do is coming to Kinokuniya, the bookstore, and indulging myself in books. And then it was Christmas at night. Now I know this is like 5 months old, so we are really not in the festive season. But look how pretty the setups were. Like all the designer stores really went all out to give people in Singapore the best experience. Something I like to do whenever I go to Singapore is to take one day out of the trip to visit places alone and really go exploring. I tell my parents, you guys can do whatever you want, just leave me out of it for that day. And this day, I went on to explore all the roads that were in the city. I came across this random road which had this beautiful park, and then I was just so enamored by all of it. The leaves, people taking photos of it, and people going on walks. It felt different, even though it was just a regular day in Singapore for people. And then, of course, food is still a part of exploring alone. You don't stop eating when you're alone. I came across this really cute bakery with some buns that were just so delicious. Now, I don't remember what exactly these were, but you get the point. Something about me is that I need my fitness routine to be intact no matter where I go. So what I did was I found a gym in Singapore. Yeah, my parents thought I was pretty crazy for doing that. They were like, why can't you just enjoy a holiday? And they're right. Why can't I just enjoy a holiday without having to worry about fitness? But I find fitness is also what allows me to have a balanced mind about food. Because I've struggled with food a lot in the past, and fitness allows me to be neutral about food without going too far or going too low. Going to Universal Studios is a must. You have to have it on your to-do list when you're in Singapore. But to be honest, if you're a seasoned traveler in Singapore, you probably don't need to go there every time. And this time, even though I've already been there, I wanted to go again to relive some part of my teenagehood. I won't lie though, my expectations for it were not met. Something about the rain hindering my walks and just the busyness of the crowd that day really made it difficult for me to enjoy the entire experience. So, if I'm being honest with you, I probably won't go there again. But you have to go if you haven't been there before. And more bites I enjoyed in Singapore. Honestly, I think food was one of my favorite parts in the entire journey this time. More than the shopping, more than the sightseeing, more than the walking and exploring. The food really created a lot of memories for me, and I will always be grateful for that. I don't know when I'm going to Singapore next, but I know I will go there again someday. And next time, I kind of want to live there just for like a month, just to see how it is. But until then, I will just treasure this in my heart. Until next time, Singapore. Thank you.